much larger than we
maybe it's 50, but I'll tell you.
James Clapper now claims the Russians swung the 2016 presidential election for Donald Trump. The former Obama intel chief's supposed bombshell comment contradicting the view of the entire intelligence community's formal assessment released after they thoroughly investigated the matter last year. And joining us now, former FBI Assistant Director, great American, and terrific friend of this broadcast. Good to see you, James. James Kallstrom.
Nice to be here, Lou.
Let's, I mean, I can't even believe the nonsense.
It's unreal.
From a former NDI.
Yeah. Does he forget what his testimony was before the Congress?
I guess he does. And I don't think it matters to him one whit whether he's caught in a lie or not.
Yeah, the man needs some psychiatric help.
And what about James Comey?
Comey is, you know, we've been talking about, at least I have, among others, for about a year and a half now on Comey. Mm-hmm. And he's the guy with the biggest attitude and the biggest, he puts himself on this huge pedestal. The ego is just unbelievable. Yet, he has no common sense. And you know, to think that he could pull off this whitewash of a fraudulent investigation on Hillary Clinton, when the President Obama himself on at least 2 occasions said, there's no evidence against her, she's done nothing wrong. I mean, you'd have to be a moron not to know that that was just a phony thing from the very beginning. Yeah,
not to understand the dog whistle from the President of the United States about his former Secretary of State. He couldn't have been clearer. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And for the most obvious, I think the most obvious pay-for-play scandal in this country's history is the Clinton Foundation. And for the FBI to permit itself to conclude that they're not going to have an investigation, then try to sell the nonsense that, don't worry, we got it under control out in the Little Rock Bureau.
Well, it wasn't the FBI wasn't investigating the Clinton Foundation. I've called it, you know, a bigger RICO case than the mafia, quite frankly. You know, more sophisticated and more money involved, you know, and it wasn't that the FBI agents didn't want to investigate it. It's, you know, these 5 or 6 or 12 or 15 or 20 or whoever, with this number of sycophants in Washington.
Is going to be much larger than we
maybe it's 50, but I'll tell you right now, Lou, it's not the thousands of agents that are out there. I hear from tons and tons of these people. They are so upset about what is going on. You know, and some of your guests on this show, who I think I respect, you know, have talked about turning over the FBI to the Marshal Service. I think that's really a crazy idea. Everyone has their own idea, but that is not anything that should ever happen. We need new leadership. We need discipline. We need to get rid of the top-ranking people in there right now and bring a leader in there that can motivate and discipline the agency. That's what needs to happen.
Here's what I think, and I'd like to get your judgment about the future of the FBI as an institution.
Yes.
I personally believe it depends on how many agents step forward and say, under subpoena, what truly happened. If there isn't that residual within the rank and file of the FBI, I think that the institution is doomed. And by the way, I've got sitting here with the greatest respect and affection for you. I have to say that if they don't step up here, that they deserve that institution to be absolutely swept aside.
Well, I believe the vast majority of those that have knowledge, that have a reason to step forward, other than what they see on television every day. Yeah. And that's a small number, because Comey and those other sycophants brought that investigation and those other investigations close hold. You know, the agents themselves and the field officers, it was all taken away. I mean, they called up the New York office and shut down the Clinton Foundation investigation. They shut it down in Little Rock. It's not the agents that are out there. It's this group of people that perpetrated this fraud on the country and thought they could get away with it. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable what we're doing to a fine institution. I spent most of my adult life there. You know, I know what people go to work for every day there in the FBI. Well, you know, and it's a shame that this has happened, that we've put a series of bad leadership, and I'll include Bob Mueller in that.
Absolutely. I mean, Mueller and
Comey was a
James
disaster.
Comey, both working in the most highly politicized administration. They politicized the Justice Department, the FBI, the Internal Revenue Service, The list goes on.
Obama,
there's no part of that government they didn't politicize.
Obama politicized the entire government.
Yeah.
You know, and he filled it with sycophants, and the people would succumb to the Stockholm syndrome. And I mean, it's just a tragedy what went on. You know, and guys like Brennan and Clapper and Comey.
How did we ever create? How could they?
John Brennan. I mean, what a
this
horrible.
is a man who exudes evil. I mean, all you have to do is watch the man.
I know him. I can tell you that's a good feeling on your part, because he's really a psychopath, that guy. You know, and all his rantings and ravings and threatening people. You know, we got to clean this thing out.
Including the President of the United States.
Including the President of the United States. And here we've got the Deputy Attorney General threatening people. I mean, what is this? Yeah. Here's a guy who signed one of the renewals on the fraudulent Pfizer application. I mean, what is going on here?
And today we don't even know whether the Gang of Eight, the heads of the House Intelligence and Oversight Committees, actually got to see the documents of origin leading to the special counsel. We don't know whether they were just briefed about it or were they patted on the head. And
I mean, this conspiracy's been working for a long, long time. Yeah. You know, and this getting Donald Trump, whenever there was an inkling that he was going to win this thing, you know, there was a fifth column, a strong fifth column, and they're still there today. They're still there today.
I keep saying to folks, and I will continue to say to folks, you know, it's not just that this president has had the guts and the intelligence to drive this, but to imagine what he withstands every day, and has had to withstand from the moment he ran for this.
I've known him for 43 years. And
for him to stand up like he has, this country
and he's never not going to stand up, no matter what happens with these fools.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Jim, it's great to see you, and
God bless you, Lou Dobbs.
God bless you, James Kallstrom. Thanks for being here.